There you go. It worked again. Thank you very much. Welcome. We're here, Speak Up Monday, episode number 459 in the garden here at Tropical Nomad. And tonight is really important because once every month, the first week of every month, we go deep into health with our collaboration with a health tourism initiative, Health Hub Bali, which we're going to get more into in a moment. Now, tonight we have a very, very special guest from Spain, if I can say that. And we're talking about how to reverse disease tonight, which is a very key topic. We had a few people in the audience say that by the time they finish this talk, they want to have shaved about 10 or 15 years off just through listening. I'm not sure we can promise that, but you will get some really good tips and understanding of how to go deeper. And if you want to know more, make sure that you look at Health Hub Bali. Now, that's on Instagram, Facebook, all the usual channels. Now, Health Hub Bali, which I can probably actually, I think I will. Health Hub Bali, connecting you to better health over the past decade. Now, Health Hub Bali, or HHB, has supported patients, practitioners, hospitals, and government initiatives continuously expanding its health programs. And as I mentioned, tonight is all about how do we reverse health, and our guest panelist is Professor David. Now, your surname, I should have asked you before, Luján?
Luján. Yeah.
Luján.
Luján in English, Luján in Spanish.
Luján. I had no chance.
Luján is okay.
I had no chance, even if I would have asked before. So founder, author, psychologist with multiple master's degrees and founder of 3 scientific institutions, he brings a unique perspective of the human body and its healing mechanisms. Now, we also have Tracy Grunewald, who's being very calm over there, founder of HHB, trained in functional medicine with expertise in chronic disease, autoimmune conditions, cancer, and somatic therapies. And obviously myself, Robert Ian Bonnick, international speaker, advisor, growth strategist, and gateway to Indonesia for foreign and local companies. Obviously host of Speak Up Monday, founder of RIB and Associates, tourism architect. We've been recognized by Forbes Business Council, the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, and obviously Bali Tourism Promotion Board. So lastly, the 5 takeaways from tonight, it's about understanding the neuroscience behind disease. I'm very interested in that. Yeah. And obviously we're going to find out, who you are, which we're going to get into that soon, and the 5 steps to untangle disease. That sounds very interesting. The cancer and autoimmune connection in the body. And finally, Bali's Back to Nature Care Implementation Plan. All of this in the next hour or so. So I'm ready. I even dropped it. I'm that ready. So maybe what we do actually is, let's start with you, David. So Professor David. So obviously I mentioned you're from Spain, but when did you, were there any kind of defining moments as you were growing up that you realized, hey, this is what I want to do? I want to help to heal people. Was any inclination leading you in that direction as you were growing up?
Well, that's a beautiful question because it is the topic about, actually. I want to talk about how to reverse diseases, but the main thing is when you do what you're meant to be, what you are born to be. Yeah. I think I was born like this. I was a very weird kid, My parents took me to psychologists. They didn't understand what's going on with me. But slowly I found out that naturally I was helping people without intention. It came to me just like this. Yeah. So when I started, I don't know, but when I became older, then they told me this list of degrees, And I thought, well, psychology, because I already know. So many psychologists in my life as I was a kid. So I think that was the starting point. But in psychology, I was not so satisfied. So I saw a book on the library about Chinese medicine, and I opened a book for Asia. Now we are in Asia here, right? And they talk about energies in your body. And I was, okay, this is the great, No complex. In the West we have complex about psychology or emotions being scienced. But here in the East it's not like this. So I was fascinated, and I decided to move into Asia, traditional Chinese medicine first, and many other subjects around.
Look, one thing which is very apparent to me and everybody here is that, like, I think partly because you're Spanish, maybe that's me putting my stuff onto it. But you have a beautiful personality, right? Very clear that you're an open person and very warm and inviting, and you got energy, right? You got a spark to you. That's what I feel. That's what we all feel.
Thank you.
Where does that come from?
Oh, really? I don't know. I didn't know I was having that. It's coming from my country. My country, but it's more extrovert, I can say so. I have many years, more than 25 years teaching. When you are like this, talking for 4 hours a day, and you want the people to enjoy it, you cannot for 4 hours a day just send information. You have to make them to have fun also. I always said that the ones who really learn the most than us are children.
Yeah.
How do they do? By having fun. You are very serious like this, the student, they're starting to go sleeping. So you have to keep it up as you do. Very, very, very funny, and always keep it up. So I think I learn by my students falling asleep. So I have to just kick.
So obviously very serious topic tonight. However, like, we can infuse fun, right? And I'm guessing as well that fun is also part of this reverse aging mechanism. So I know we're going to get into Tracy in a second, but how does our thoughts, our emotions, our mental state play into this topic tonight? How would you answer that?
Well, before I was mentioned that in the West, they cut it like body and mind, and emotions like this. So body is science, and this is something for crazy people like me, maybe like you too.
This is true. Likes is like, damn you!
All of us here, maybe.
Come on.
But in the East, it was not such a thing of dividing mind and body. It's everything together. And now science is starting to prove, this is what I'm coming to talk about here, because science is getting closer to the idea that emotions, thoughts, and a matter, and a cell, and an atom, we cannot separate it. It's exactly the same. So the East was right. And science is still with this complex on trying to, if I don't see, I don't believe it. How can you see those science love? How can they see crying? They cannot explain. So they put it aside. They're trying to deny emotions like robots.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, my man. So I'm going to ask you to pass that microphone to our sister Tracy, because we can. So Tracy, beyond the introduction that we just gave you, like, maybe you can, help fill in some gaps about what you see tonight, or maybe, what you see about Health Hub Bali that may be interesting to people tuning in.
Yeah. So tonight we have the topic, we've called it Let's Talk, Reversing Disease, because what we're finding daily, people are getting these what we call diagnosis, and the trauma that goes with just that, and people are stuck with that label. We want to look beyond that and untangle that. And that's looking from the West. Like we said, there's a few pillars in the West, but it may not necessarily give us an answer. And how can you say, you're stuck with this, basically a life sentence sometimes. But there is a flip side to it. And that's where it doesn't matter if it's Osada or it's the Ayurvedic or the Chinese medicine, what we call whole health, we can start weaving this into our life now by us understanding it.
Love it. So let's get on to his questions, right? So understanding the neuroscience behind disease. So if I ask you that question, which I guess I just did, understanding, the neuroscience behind disease, how would you answer that? How would you respond?
Well, I need 3 days. You have 3 days?
Look,
I was trying to make it shorter,
I have 5 days, brother. But for you have about 2 minutes.
Well, I think one important thing for all of us is that usually we study always diseases. So we get a lot of information about diseases. What happened? We study healthy people. So we never study so much healthy people. But when you do so, something very shocking, Really healthy people, doesn't matter. They do everything wrong. They smoke, they drink, they eat bad, but they're still healthy. So they're breaking all the statistics around in the world, whatever all the, expensive studies that we do. These people, they make fun of them. And you look at it, are you sure you're healthy? Perfectly great. You do tests, and these people are healthy. How many millions of people are like this in the world? Then they are doing many things wrong, and they are healthy, So this is the interesting part, My answer for this is something that I call the angle theory. Because we are born, this is important to understand, we are born with natural skills. natural virtues. Our ancestors, our family tree, our parents are giving us something. Even a twin brother, two twin brothers, the mother knows that this twin brother they love this kind of thing, and the other one something else. So we are born with a natural attraction to things, and this is our way, giving by wherever, but it is something that I love to do. Right now, I think it's very difficult. The parents are telling the kids what to do. You have to leave kids alone in a free room with many things, and they have to move freely until they find out what I really are interested in. And this we can call destiny. So if I really focus on my destiny, people are helping me when I am a kid, and I continue moving on, those are the people that will never get sick. And this is an interesting thing.
So the question will come later on, but you know what? Today we're rocking and rolling. So Guz, can I have the microphone for a second, the third mic, and just pass it over here to Jason? And I'm interested to hear this question. Shorter, earlier than before, but it's okay.
Thanks. What is the definition of healthy in that context? Is it based on the biomarkers? Like I smoke a lot or drink a lot, but then my biomarkers are all in the right gauge. Is that the definition of healthy, or what is healthy?
Well, healthy in this way, it is like you are doing what you love. Many things in your body are helping you to maintain health. So it's the most important thing in life to do what you are meant to be for. When you turn around, this is why I call it the angle theory. Sometimes, 18 years old, 20 years old, I decided to go that way. It's not with my virtues, but somebody promised me, usually because of money. Somebody promised me this, you get more reputation. It's very important for humans, reputation, or money, which is sometimes the same thing. So I decided, okay, let's go another way. My father wanted me to be a lawyer, because he was having some problems. And he said, forget about psychology, go into a lawyer. In my end, then I listened to him. By now, I will be a lawyer and full of diseases. If you want to maintain yourself healthy, you need to find who you are. This is difficult, but now we'll talk about this thing in the brain, and just push for this. And whatever you do, it's not only what you're doing, also the attitude. I see many patients, and they're in the path, we can say, in the way, but they have their own attitude, and they're starting to get sick. And they get sick. My job as a doctor is to correct the attitude, and sometimes you have to correct even the angle. Do something else than you really love. You came here for this. Everybody, the gods, wherever, the family tree, the ancestors are waiting for you to do that. They give you energy, they give you tools. Tools are natural virtues, skills. You are full of skills for this one. If you do something else, then the body is not a disease. In this perspective, is a warning. It's not really disease. It's telling you are doing wrong. You listen to the disease. In many cases, especially cancer is very famous for this. You listen to the disease, you do something else, and the disease disappears without pills, without surgery.
Oh, mamma mia. Two things real fast. Tracy wants the mic in a second. Ronnie. Jason, meet Ronnie. Ronnie, meet Jason. Jason organized some of the biggest festivals in the world, and Ronnie wants to have a chat to you. I can tell. Now, Tracy, you want to add something to this at this point? Yeah.
Just on definitions. So when we're talking health, I was just actually looking at this week. The root meaning of it, the whole, it's actually whole. So all the ancient treatments and that, they really address the whole person. So it's coming back to center. And when we always took the word dis-ease, it's not at ease. You're not at that person. So that's what Professor David's talking about, coming back to that space. So the focus now is in, say, functional medicine. We're not looking at the disease, we're looking at the person. We treat the person, not the disease. But what you will, as a practitioner, you'll start seeing patterns. And that's the idea here in Bali. We start getting these clusters so people can understand what's happening, own it, and that's the wake-up call. All it is a wake-up call. It's your journey, and that's what is really nice about Bali. Yeah.
Thanks, Trace. So just regrouping is that. So what you're saying, Professor David, is that so when you do what you're supposed to do, you're in flow and your body is healthy. When you're doing something that is really not what you should be doing, this is where disease can show up in your body, right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
It is a first message when I'm turning around, going away, this angle. When I open the angle, the first message is metabolic. Yeah. You feel energetic, a little bit uncomfortable. Some people are very intuitive and they say, this is not my place. I'd rather go that way or that way. People who are usually spiritual people who are connected, they know where to go better. You continue going away because money, because any other interest, then the message increases. Next message is emotional. You're starting to feel stress, anxiety, depression, emotional message, and you don't know what is going on. It's a warning. It's not something wrong. If you go back to what you love, those disappear. But you continue pushing and pushing. Then and our society is full of remedies how to maintain that thing quiet.
Yeah.
So even entertaining, the industrial TV, whatever, pills, then I cutting off the message. Before, in the ancient times, they didn't have these things. So you are forced to listen. Rather you listen or you die. But right now we have so many other things to just distract myself and continue wrong. And some people can go for years and years. Next message, it is physical. After a long time being metabolic and emotional with the tensions, then you get some pain here. Some pain is there. It's still a warning, I have sometimes my courses that come in doctors and they tell me that patients sometimes they have 14 different attacks, heart attacks. So one heart attack is a warning. Nature doesn't want to kill you, it's warning you, but you don't listen. Then for a few days you listen a lot and then you go back to the office, keeping fighting another heart attack, So it's not a disease, nobody wants to kill you, it's warning you. Please come back, we are waiting for you, you have to do this. What are you doing in some other area than it is basically money there, but it is not health.
Next question that Jason was going to ask, but he sent it to me mentally. If you're not on track, how do you find your way on track? Now, I know you could say that, what you've just said is that, well, try that. If it doesn't feel good, stop it, try something else. But I don't want to put the answers in your mouth. So if the question is then, right, being in flow, doing something which I love, the body has a much easier route. But how when patients come to you, and you mentioned these 3 areas, but how do you then help them to find their journey?
Well, if I continue, sorry, I will reply this question. But if you got, I say we have first metabolic, and then we have emotional problems, and then physical. If you continue going that way with taking those pills, this is okay, surgery, but it will express in another area. Then you continue until you reach a very beautiful place full of lights called hospital. when the interesting thing happened here in the hospital, because usually the patients in the hospital, they are so shocked about what's happening to me right now, then they bring down something very healthy, resolutions. And this is a promise to myself, I will change, I will move that way. Everybody connecting with those times, then I click my angle. Maybe I was 20 years old and I decided to go that way. They're starting to feel intuitively in those days. I forget about my trumpet. I used to love playing. Yeah. Usually all the resolution in the hospital is people, very, very humanistic resolution. More time with my family, more time with I have to be nicer with my wife, or nicer with my husband. All those things are happening. And this is the real you that you're supposed to be listened to. So we need all of us on a slap sometime, to be afraid. I call it the ancestor, I'm thinking in Spanish right now, fears, we can say, ancestor fear, not only me, all my family tree is afraid, and then I connect with the self, And this is your answer. What I have to do with patients is to do this, and you go that way. I'm not a God to know what is your natural virtues. Yeah? You also don't know, because you have so many, they say, the Buddhists, they say a lot of fungus all around you cannot see.
Just to clarify, if you go to him, he's not going to slap you. All right? Because I feel people that's like, what, he's going to slap? How hard? It's not a physical slap, right?
Sometimes.
Oh! No. I knew it!
No, it is. It's a joke. Of course, we don't slap anybody. But the needles. Yeah, I work with acupuncture because I think it's the minimum damage, maximum input. Your autonomous nervous system, we need to impart, in order to change that thing, doesn't know if the needle is going to be a spear, continue going through until I kill you or not. So the reaction is a lot. Okay. And it's similar to put a patient in a hospital. The same resolutions, but the treatment is useless if the patient doesn't have resolutions in a shocking, I need to go back to who I am, And then my job is to listen, to understand, and reinforcing. Exactly, this is what you have to do, because they are lost. Most of us are lost. Basically, before I was telling them when we are children, they just tell us what to do, what to play with, what not to play with. They don't give us an open nature. Just play around, have fun, and you come back and tell me what you love. This is the job of a mother, to listen to the kid, the job of a father, to promote what you really love. Usually my father, lawyer, And that is, he's doing his best because of love, reading the newspaper. When I tell I want to be a psychologist, he says, psychologist, no good money. You go there, lawyers better.
I hear you on that. Neuroscience, and Tracy wants to chime in. Yeah.
Before we leave the neuroscience department, what I'd love, David, for you to share about Freud's idea about one. Yeah.
Because we have been talking before, she knows everything. I told her just a few days ago that Sigmund Freud, around the 30s, he tell everybody, he's shocking the whole world, the Western world, that we have one subconsciousness. Everybody, oh, this guy is very intelligent. I can identify on myself. So it's true that not everything is consciousness. But this science, the Chinese, 3,000 years before, they identified at least 16 different subconsciousness. And this is what I do even when I wait to get the pulse. We're touching the pulse like this, and I tell you, what is your subconsciousness talking to you? And now is when neuroscience is coming, because I think they discovered in the last few years, not so late ago, I think the biggest discovery in neuroscience, for the last 2 decades, which is a structure in our brain that is connecting the self with the consciousness. It's a very good finding, finally. By the way, also they find out longer ago that our brain, to produce consciousness, is only 3% of the effort in our brain. Like 97% of the effort, it is subconsciousness, also in my brain. But these Chinese, they were saying the subconsciousness, they have a house too. So it's in my liver, it's in my kidneys. They call it in those times spirits. They call it subconsciousness, in the heart, in the lungs. So they are a very big family. When this family is fighting, then diseases are happening. When do they fight? They fight when we have tension. Imagine in an office, then when things are going right in the office, everybody's happy, everybody's a good friend, Yeah. But what happens when the office is starting to break down, no good money, no good results, tension is coming. When you have tension inside you because you are forcing yourself, these organs starting to fight. The liver fight with the spleen fight with the lungs, and this is when you're tuning around. And then diseases are coming as a warning again.
Love the angle therapy. I mean, so Tracy was said before we leave neuroscience. We're not leaving neuroscience yet. There's one more question, right? So I think quite a few people may have heard some years ago the book called The Brain That Changes Itself, right? I remember this book. I gave about 10 copies away. I never read it. But I thought, you need to read this. And I gave it to this person. Like, what am I doing? So The Brain That Changes Itself, neuroplasticity. So, and some incredible cases of people basically recovering cognitive functions, and some, which I'm not a doctor, don't trust what I say, but almost to the point where they're regrowing limbs or something, which to me sounds crazy in a way, but in another way maybe not. So my question is, so maybe choose the one that stands out the most. So on this topic of neuroscience and neurology and neuroplasticity, what would you say for you is the most misunderstood thing? Meaning someone says, oh, it's blah, 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 but they're completely wrong. What would that be?
Well, for me, your question is, how do we know ourselves? This is a big question that it takes a lifetime. So am I doing the right thing? I think the only way to know it is not happiness. People are trying to evaluate about happiness. It is more about if I'm healthy or not. Because everybody declare happy. You ask anybody, I'm happy. Some of them, they suicide. They did studies about this. So the main thing is, are you healthy? It doesn't matter the age. People think I'm getting older, I have to be sick. That's not like it. But it means that the angle is breaking more away. So for me, the biggest input in neuroscience is the connection between this self that we are talking about and is created in my organs, basically. They have to come to my awareness. And they have to cross a structure that they find out, and it's called the singular cortex. I cannot show pictures right now, but it's something like this inside our brain. And this area down here is we call it the reptile brain, reptile animal. In the middle is limbic, which is the emotions, right? And then in the whole area here, but basically in the center is awareness. And it's called the anterior singular cortex. So anterior is here. A little bit inside, of course, yeah. So if this is they find out people who passed away, they open up the brain. Those that are giving all the pleasures of my life that I want, eating chocolate, I like chocolate.
Buy him chocolate. Pro tip.
Bring chocolate. I always try to avoid. So in a way, like all those entertainment that society is giving you. I want to be a doctor, but they push me this way to be lazy, to take chocolate, to drink alcohol, to do what it's easy to do, you know. Watching those movies that are also very easy. Those people that are using that thing, this area become very shorter, smaller, and thicker. So the communication from the subconsciousness to your awareness cannot cross. It's like a wall, you know. Okay. And they find out very interesting people who really put an effort. Basically, when you do what you don't feel like it. So you wake up in the morning and you say, I will continue sleeping, but let me go running. Those people who you wake up and say, I don't feel like it, let's move it. Those people that sacrifice against the will, we can say. Right. Initial will is laziness, right? But then I have discipline. So disciplined people, they find out that this area is bigger and it's spongy. So more sponge, so the communication can go through the waves, communicating who I am with the awareness is communicating. Usually we call this one the king. So at the end, that will take the decisions in many ways.
Oh, okay, so those who are disciplined, you're saying, have a greater connection.
Yes.
Okay.
That is quite interesting. Yeah? So laziness is reverse. This idea of American dream is like we are a rich country, just please yourself with whatever because we have money. So usually money is making people in a way lazy and going for money. Money is bringing money. This is why I love Bali. Most of the Balinese people, the priority is not always money. Sometimes something else, you know. But for us in the Western world, it is, I don't care if you are happy, are you rich? That is the question people are telling me, no? For social reputation. No? But it's discipline, and they relate it also with the will of living. People who live longer is because they love what they're doing. So that's also very spongy. You know, people that are starting to lose motivation, only just pleasures. I can eat chocolate, I can watch movies, everything is pleasant. I give massage, but everything lazy, not really fighting for what my responsibilities. You know, in this universe, we all have responsibilities. You fight for them, they applaud you, they give you health. You are lazy in another way, they warn you. And people live longer with this spongy area, knowing who I am and knowing what I have to do, which is the same thing. You know, you are doing what you love is because you know who I am. So I think this replies a bit to the question of it's so difficult to know who I am, but check out your health. That is the only thing. Your happiness is not there, and the connection with the self. Many people they are going to this Asia and coming from India now, searching because it's spirituality. I mean, who I am. Many people lost in the West because I have money, I have everything, but I'm sick. Am I doing right? This question is really killing, is creating diseases. So people are coming to this to Asia, trying to meditate, trying to understand who I am. Meditation is also proof to help this become more spongy, the communication with the subconscious, with awareness. So sorry to interrupt.
No, brother, I love that. So if you pass the microphone to Tracy, so I see in the audience people that haven't been here before, right? So maybe now is the time to give our brother a break. Not that he needs it, because he's used to 4 hours at a time going hard, right? So maybe explain the West versus East and how this all fits in, so people here can understand the whole ecosystem.
Yeah. So in the conventional medicine, it's not really about untangling disease. It's usually dealing with the symptoms, okay, and squashing it. A lot of the times, a lot of disease is from the suppressed emotions, depending on what type of disease it is. Okay, but I'll give you a list here to untangle disease. It's usually to identify it. This is in the ones who want to say do functional medicine. They identify it, then they want to release it, renew, rebalance, repair, realign, and revitalise. If I rattle off those words, if you go systematically through, you want to clear, you detox, you reset and restore, and then basically it's your responsibility to create a different life. So this is a big model. But once we go into the whole health model and we start going to, I say there's 9 levels, that's the entry level, we start getting, it's more delicate, and we start going back to, you talk about ancestry, the inherited diseases sometimes we have is usually from the program programming that we have, the stories that we have from little, and then they start showing up and we have the same diseases our parents have. So especially in this time now, we have an opportunity, especially in Bali, to take time out and look what patterns there are in life, what choices we've made, and then we'd start talking about conscious choices and address the subconscious ones and why. So they're part of the retreats that we're really connecting people to, and ways that people can create a new journey to untangle.
Beautiful. Just a quick, make sure the audience is with us. Just raise your hand if you feel that you have done some healing while you've been in Bali. Just raise your hand. If you've done some healing while you've been in Bali. Okay. Hands up if you haven't done healing or you feel as though you haven't done any healing in Bali. Yeah? Okay. Thank you. Perfect.
So what I'd say, sometimes what's happening is we can get, like, it's another thing, like you talk about addictions. Like we are actually human, and what Health Hub's about is just getting back to basics and grounding, not doing a spiritual bypass and then getting excited about what's here in Bali. It is a catalyst for change, and you will have a shift. But to make it sustainable and something that you are very aware of, consciously and subconsciously, that's when real transformations happens.
Okay, so next question. So we're talking about cancer and cancer. You want to chime in? Fine.
Because I want to add something.
You come from Spain. You can chime in. It's fine.
Yeah, I would like to. This is very nice what she was saying. I would like to give another advice, because the job of the consciousness, it is basically two things: to justify it and to excuse everything. So when I see a patient full of the programs, as she was saying, mental program, to justify everything, to excuse myself, that is this area, it is very hard. So you are not listening to yourself. You are defending whatever people are attacking you. When you are very connected with yourself, people are less defensive, so less excuses, are more flexible to understand things that maybe I'm doing wrong. So you accuse somebody, say, maybe you are right. So the capacity to judge yourself, the ego, and be able to be flexible, that's also make this area flexible. When you are every kind of attack, you defense, you justify it. Some people are non-stop machines of this. Then this is very rigid, and it's very difficult to maintain out of any diseases. Main thing to do, this machine of justified excuses, cut it off. Then we get another slap, let it, and no slapping.
He says slapping.
But what happens with this is not just about that person. It's everybody who loves and cares for them. It's the whole family dynamics, and in the community, it impacts everybody. So the more honest we can, and this is what calling back, connecting to health and being whole, is getting back to basics and really knowing who we are. And that's what that was. Yeah.
Beautiful. So now, if you have any questions in about 5 minutes, so feel free to raise your hand. That third mic that you spoke on before will come around. Remember to hold it quite close to your mouth and just go to your question, okay? In about 5 minutes, which means 10 minutes, usually. 5 to 10 minutes, there you go. So let's talk about cancer and autoimmune connection in the body. So cancer and the autoimmune connection in the body. What comes up for you, which is something you like to speak or share with the people here?
And do you have 3 days?
I have 5 days, but you have 2 minutes.
Because I did I did a book about it a few years ago, because cancer is very interesting. It's like the top of many diseases nowadays,
So maybe what is cancer? Maybe break it down from there and move on. Because sometimes I think that people, as Jason said earlier on, we skip so far ahead and maybe we're not all on the same page. So I think explaining what cancer is first and then going to that, I think would be helpful.
Well, cancer basically is cells that they are doing something different from the rest of all the cells. So the rest of the body want to survive, and these cells want to kill you. So when they continue growing, it's hard to stop, But the interesting part about this one, it is that the immune system of the patient with cancer is perfectly all right. any other disease, any cut in my body, it's very fast, it's very efficient. So why the cancer cells are not attacked by the immune system? They did many studies, basically with mouse, but when the immune system want to attack a cancer cell, they can even take like three times the size of a mouse, imagine a cancer as big as this screen on me, and in a matter of a few days disappear. Because the immune system is very specialized on killing cancer. Very fast and very easy. Any mole, I have a mole here, a mole, you know moles? Moles are cancer too. But the immune system maintain this, perfect, no problem. No? So the question is why the body doesn't attack? And not only they find out, not only it's not attacking, it's even giving food. So my body, my immune system, it is holding the cancer on purpose. So the main question for me is why my body want to supply something that they will kill everybody. It doesn't make sense at first place. So the only thing that I put in the book, and it's come to me, one of the biggest mistake, in my opinion, for science nowadays, two main mistakes. One of them is that they think that the body is stupid and we are very intelligent, you know? But the body is nature. We cannot be more intelligent than nature. We don't know how to produce a tree. We can put a seed and we plant it. We water the tree, but the tree is done by nature. Eh? So we are not so intelligent, and this is the biggest mistake sometimes. We are very clever, and the body is stupid. So we put pills to suppress the immune system. Right? This is one of the mistakes. The other mistake of science, it is to think that individual. We started with this microscope. Just isolate everything from you and pick out one cell and look at the cell. I don't look at you anymore, only the cell, you know. And we have been doing this for centuries. And this is good, we improve a lot, but it's also a mistake to understand many things, you know. So the immune system of a person with cancer, it doesn't belong to the person alone. It belongs to everybody. And this is the shocking thing, you know. Not to everybody, basically to the belonging groups. You know, your family, your people in the office, your friends. Every time we get together, we connect the immune system. So now the question is why everybody will like to kill one of the members, you know? Yeah. That is a bit shocking, but I have the book and I have very nice cases, good result with patients, trying to understand this, you know. Usually it's a famous sentence in cancer, and they say, cancer is always taking the best. Everybody loves that person, and it dies. So why everybody, why cancer has to take the best? Because it's a person that I call it a masochist, because he's a super doer. He's helping everybody, helping. Cancer is taking those who are helping too much, you know. Ooh. Why? Because our immune system is very intelligent, of course. Somebody is doing like this to everybody. This one is a very nice guy, but he's a thief. He's a thief of people's experience. If I go to your house and I clean every day for you, and I cook for you, then you don't know how to cook. You become lazy. Same thing than pills. You know, if I take a pills for example, the insulin pills, my pancreas will know how to do insulin by itself. So those people are stealing the capacity of others to do things in the house. I'm super good. My mother is super good. But then I become useless. So usually the cancer patient is a super doer with a couple of useless people around.
Wow. Hold for 1 second. Fellas have just arrived. You can either sit here or you can walk around and sit over there. Now, that is what you just said is because again, like I come from personal, a people pleaser. Right, that's where I've come from. Right, historically, not so much now, but still there a little bit. So what you're saying then is, as you just said, right? So people that really are pleasing other people all the time, in the way that you're talking, are perhaps even more susceptible and more open to inviting in one of these types, such as a cancer. Very interesting.
It sounds good because everybody wants to, we are educated to be, to please everybody the maximum as possible. But everything has a limit. Yeah. Not too low, not too high. When you go high, also diseases are coming. Yeah. So we have to, it's a very famous sentence in Chinese, they say, don't give me a fish, show me how to go fishing. Yeah. So if I give fish to everybody, then everybody becomes lazy. You know, but I show you how to go fishing. So this is the message of cancer patients. Stop helping people too much and show them how to do it by themselves. People who are doing that, this is a teamwork. If you think about nature, it's like an office. One company with one super doer and everybody lazy or useless is not a very good productive company. You have to balance the whole company. No one super do it and everybody in the same level, everybody pushing, doing their own functioning. The nature is happy, nobody get cancer in the family. Yeah. So that is important. I give a message to these cancer patients, one single word, very powerful. When you have cancer, go back to your house, and every time, for example, your daughter is telling you, "Mama, can you pass me the salt?" He's right there. You said, "No, I am death." It's a very powerful sentence, you know. And then, "Mama, come on, it's just there, do it for me." "No, I'm death, I have cancer, I might die tomorrow." You stand up, you pick up for yourself. This is, don't give a fish. Show people how to go fishing. You know? We don't know, because cancer is, nature is very big. What is the action that you are doing wrong? So we have to cut it, all of them, just in case, you know. Can you pick children from the school? You go. "Mama, I need a meeting." You go. "I don't care." And death. This is the message. I've saved, I think I'm proud to say so, I've saved many people's life with this. Not all of them, some of them, because they're super doers all their life. When you tell them, "I cannot do this," you know, they will hate me. It's okay, you die, but be careful. This is also very important, because the Game of Thrones, usually it's an structure with a super doer and everybody useless. Not 100% useless, but anyway. You die, usually another one down here will take the throne. Start to doing the same thing. The structure is comfortable because we already know what is it. So in a couple of years, 10 years, 15 years, that person taking your throne will have cancer too. You know, you're gonna die. It's okay for nature. It's okay, but be sure that nobody, like your elder daughter, is taking the throne, or your husband, your wife. So that's also very shocking for them. You know.
Question. I know Tracy's going to chime in a minute, but keep it.
Hello.
So, okay, we're talking about cancer, talking about autoimmune. For those joining us now, Speak Up Monday, episode 459. It's about reversing age, and we have Professor David here, who we're talking to. So look, establish that. The question then is, if there was a 3 or 5 step process, I know it doesn't break down like this, but I'm asking you, for those people that have cancer, from your own personal experience, if there are 3 or 5 steps to help them to reverse that, what would those steps be?
Well, number one, for sure, is to start teaching people how to do things. Don't be the super doer. So the training, it is not doing, you know. And in a way, it sounds like a good guy, but it's selfish. Yeah. Because you get a lot of internal benefits when you are doing things for others. But they are lot of sympathy to understand that I'm feeling good because I'm a super doer, everybody loves me. But you put people down, in a way. Yeah. So, but when they get shocked, I thought I was a very nice person. And everybody told me. I said, "No, you are not." That is very shocking. I mean, you want to be nice and you do it intention, but it's not the same than to be nice. You're creating troubles all around you. So that's the first advice. Yeah. Second advice, I don't know. The same. Because diet for me is not so related with cancer. Again, as I was telling at the beginning of this interview, is that many people are doing anti-cancer things and they get cancer. Yeah. Some of them are taking everything wrong according with what cancer they live, and they have no cancer. Many patients in the world are doing things wrong and cancer is not there. So I don't think diet is that much important. I take care of myself. I take a good diet because you are full of toxics. Also that connection, now it's related, that connection with the self and the awareness, that thing also, a lot of toxics become also hard. It's difficult to connect yourself. And they understand this in the First World War. They were giving soldiers to smoke because when you get intoxicated, they're more obedient. Any kind of toxins make people more obedient to my office, obedient to TV. So they're hard for them to listen. So for me it's important, maybe another message, not to take toxics in your diet, which is also alcohol. Depends how you do it. I don't drink at all, but I understand some people, they need to have fun from some time. Depends how you do alcohol. Obviously once a month or something like this. For example, for me it's quite bad, this oil that is fried. When you hide the temperature of food, it was a study they done, it's 110 degrees temperature, more of the foods than we are taking, the nutrients, they break, and they call mutagens. It's called mutagens when those things are breaking. When you eat those things, for your body, it's a toxic. What to do with this? A lot of intoxication, it will be difficult for you to listen to yourself, and you are obedient to the outside. And that's also, you don't know where to go. That is also another good thing. Avoid toxins. So teach people what to do, avoid toxins. 5 advice. 3 is for her. No, you can tell 3 advice for cancer patients.
Over to Tracy. Thank you, my brother. Remember, you got a glass of water there if you need it, right?
But, for now, we'd like to hear about autoimmune.
Autoimmune.
See how she just flipped that back to him? I'm not sure everyone watched it. I was like, no, I don't want it. You have it.
No, I kept thinking of the advice, but the basic also to make one thing to avoid toxins in your blood is also running. I mean, exercises, of course, is very important. This is all over. The doctors are telling right in the West, not so much in India. Doctors, they don't tell you continue eating chapati. They don't give you anything else. But the exercise will make your blood to circulate. According with Chinese, we are our blood. And not my liver, and not my spleen, not my kidneys, because those can be transplanted even. You transplant me a new liver, I can continue being myself. I think they're very clever. I am a nomadic self, which is moving all around. So we need to move the blood. We need to do aerobic exercise. That's also another advice important. You know, the main thing, for me, the main thing is the first advice, but exercise also will be important, again, to clean toxins, to put that thing into discipline. If you are a disciplined person, I remember a few years ago in my country, he was a guy that he was 120 years old. They like to interview these people. I'm always keeping an eye on these people. And so they're asking, how are you so old? What is your secret? It's always like this. And this guy on TV, he was a guy from the village. You know? He said, I do everything opposite. When I'm tired, I work. When I'm hungry, I don't eat. When I don't have any hunger, I eat. So I was thinking, well, this is exactly, So this is why he's very old. He's full into discipline, Listen to himself and doing always reverse. Is that a good advice for, not only for cancer, for people to get to know yourself, Funny guy, but anyway, by the way, everybody over 100 years old, nothing to do. They did the biggest study. Now I can share this with everybody. The biggest study ever in science. It was done by the University of Harvard. 78 years of studies. So they pick up children only in US and UK from the year of 6, 7, and they follow all their life until they die. The biggest and the most expensive research ever in history about science, about health and longevity. The conclusion, all of them were doctors, they were expecting some kind of enzymes and kind of whatever. The conclusion is psychological. The final conclusion is a YouTube video, very nice. It is the quality in relationships. Yeah, that's right. This is the most important thing, the most important factor on the top for health and longevity. No quantity, the quality in relationships. So that's another maybe biggest advice. The second one, just for cancer patients, for everybody. But to cancer patients, train people, don't give them, just train them. And the second is improve your quality in relationships. Doesn't mean that you have 100 friends, but the friends that you have, you are paying attention. My country, I invite you to come to my country. We are very good at this. Very friendly people, easygoing. It's a lot to do with climate, because of course when you're in a cold country, but people are more reserved. It's very good to get to be friendly, as you are very easygoing with everybody. This is proof by science that is the most important factor. People like you, welcome everybody. You will live forever. Good news.
Hey, look, I'm 200 years of age, man.
Reverse aging.
Reverse aging. So I said about 20 minutes ago that in 5 minutes we're going to have questions. I did warn you. So we have a microphone here. So if you do have any questions, just feel free to raise your hand. Yeah, any questions? They're thinking about it. So we'll do the last question here from this part of it, and then I'm sure some questions will come from over here. So the last one is Bali's Back to Nature Care Implementation Plan. So maybe we give the mic to Tracy. She's trying to give it to you all the time. So Tracy, what was the intention with this question or this takeaway about Bali's Back to Nature Care Implementation Plan? So I don't know what it was. I just thought it was a good idea. So love it. She's not joking.
Yeah.
So what comes up?
All right. So what comes up is that we're in Bali. Bali's hosting or inviting the world basically to come here to Bali. There's a big push for medical tourism, health tourism and wellness tourism. It's a health journey. The entry point with medical is about from the Western, and what most people need, they want to hear from a doctor. They want a diagnosis. They want to see what their markers are and get baselines. And from that space, we use the rest of the tools. What we go back to in the end is we go back to nature. And this is the connection with ourselves and very much part of the Balinese way of bringing harmony into life. Connecting with the earth, connecting with one another, and connecting to something much higher. So that's that. So within the just being Bali, it's a place of healing in a real way, real big way. It's a time when you can look at life and make different choices. Yeah.
You know, future-facing question to you, brother, Professor David. So, you know, so tonight we've been talking about, you know, reversing age, right? And we've had give me 1 second. So tonight we're talking about reversing age, right? So maybe after Tracy's finished with what she's about to share, you know, like future-facing, right? If you had like a dream, right, of I wish the world would do this one thing, right? Just this one thing, right? To empower yourself, to empower each other, and so on. What would that one thing be? Right, you're going to have time to think about it, which wasn't the plan. I wanted to give you on the spot, see how you come back, but it's fine. You have time to think about it. What's your one thing, Tracy?
No, I was just finishing off, and why it's been brought up is that there's a word that's called CAM, complementary and alternative medicine, that people are looking for. And with Professor David, when I look at his, you can't see here how many lines there are of what he's done. He's president of the Association of the International Union of Complementary Medicine, and back in the day, he also was awarded the Merit for Excellence at the 47th World Congress of Complementary Medicine. So just as our guest here in Bali, I thought that would be something the Balinese with Osada would really like to know about too.
I want to stay here. I was for 23 years, my school and clinic were in India, because you were saying, you know, Asia in general, I know India very well. I was giving courses in Nepal, in Sri Lanka. Asia, for Western people, we need that. We are missing that connection. Everybody's coming here because spirituality is the missing part. I always said the opposite of depression is not happiness, is spirituality, which doesn't mean religion. Spirituality means that the perception is not understanding, it's perception of something bigger, like the wholeness. This is spirituality, and this is very healthy for all kind of diseases. This is why I moved to India, and now my times in India, I have my clinic is still there, with some of my students running the place, but I'm looking forward to move to Bali. Let's see if we can do it. But it is a very nice place, and so many healings are going on here. Very nice people doing a good job.
So that question is, you know, that dream, right? So future facing, yeah. So we've spoken about, you know, how to reverse. We've spoken about how to reverse, you know, aging, disease, and so on, right? Disease. Question then is, you know, like future facing, right? So you've had this incredible career where you've been living in different countries and, you know, been dealing with this from so many different dimensions and levels, right? So if there was one thing that people could do, what you wish that people would do more of, maybe the one thing that people can take away from tonight, no pressure, right? Which would really help them to tap into this. You know, you mentioned a few things tonight. You mentioned about doing something that you love. You've mentioned about discipline, overcoming your desires, right? And how that impacts this connection system. I don't want to give you too much now, because I don't want to shape your answer, but keeping all these things in mind, what you've seen, what you love, the fact you want to move here to Bali, what one thing is it you would love to see that people would adopt that would help them to start to really get on this train of understanding how they are basically the captain of their own health?
That's a very beautiful question.
It comes from
yeah, very good. Coming from abroad, yeah, very good. I think, by the experience with many patients, that we check the pulse, we see also many reports, but all the problems are coming from the foundation of life, which is family. So if I wish somebody will be better in the future, it is more connected with the family. I am born in a very, let's say, modern society, so I was like a very cool guy. I rejected my parents, but coming to here, I observing many patients, at the end, people are healthy when parents are solid. And also to get to know who are your parents, who are your grandparents, your great-grandparents. We are losing that thing right now. Everybody think that I am me and that's enough, So you are cutting these connections with everybody, and that is creating diseases. You can cut it for a couple of years, you think you are fine, but slowly this will come after you and you will get sick out of it. So we are not independents. This is coming, by the way, starting in the French Revolution, long time ago, the idea of the self. It creates a lot of benefits in society because somebody is me, the ego, they produce a lot of good science and everything. But I would like to come back to this idea of we, not the me, the we. The we is very healthy, and the me, it is full of problems, starting from mental problems, physical problems. So I wish in the future, just your beautiful question, everybody will be more connected with all of us, especially starting from your family and expanding the family all around. It's a good wish, right?
That's a beautiful wish, my brother. Now look, I just want to honor people here. So if you do have a question, right now is the time because, so we got a question here. So we got 1, 2. So we start with Rosmalia here, Brother Guzman. Yeah, here, okay. Remember, with questions, you could be in one of 3 places. You give the mic. One is maybe I don't want to sound silly if I ask a question that people have already, they've already told me, right? I don't want to feel embarrassed. That's one place. Another place might be, I have the question, but I'm too scared to speak, right? Public speaking is still the number one fear that people have, right? In that case, tell the person next to you, right? They put up their hand, they ask it for you. Or the third place might be, you know exactly what the question is. Put your hand up and ask the question, all right? Rosmalia, over to you, darling.
Yeah, I just hoping to hear this from either Tracy or Professor David.
Bring closer to them, Mom.
Okay. I really want to know about the body-centered therapy, talking about somatic therapy, because the past week I've been spending a lot of time going through my daughter's life from birth right through to all the different experiences and traumas, because there seems to be a lot of relevance to what is happening to her body. This is what I'm hearing. So I really want to hear from you, directly from the experts on somatic therapy.
I couldn't understand what is somatic. The body.
Off center, she wants to come back to center because diagnosis is
Well, she told me before, out of camera, the disease of your daughter and multiple sclerosis. Every disease is, I did my research, not in most of them, If you want me to talk about it, this is usually one of the strategies. We have many strategies for us to face problems. And most of the strategies are coming from my brain, In this case, usually it's people, when they face difficulties in life, problems, pain, emotional pain, they're just trying to fight positive. My mind is positive, no problem, I'll do it. So hyper-positive people, in a way, the brain have to listen to my body and to the outside, to the others, and again to my body. So when you are very positive, you deny reality. When you deny reality, you're losing objectivity. You're not so objective for many years. Usually these people are starting from a very for a very early age. So your body the brain and the body is starting to break contact until something happens and prick. And these people, it's impressive because sometimes they can move very well the body, but they're still very positive. It's like most of the people with diseases, they complain and but these people are still even happy, even though my body is not working, they're still happy because it's an extra happiness brain forever. The way to reverse this one, we are here to talk about reverse disease. In every disease is different. It will be to come down into objectivity, trying to be objective with take pain. Don't be afraid of pain. Pain is a lesson. We all have pain. Physical pain is there. Emotional pain. Don't deny the emotions. When you're angry, you got to be angry because that is a lesson for you to come back. We got to be angry for, let's say, 10 minutes, or you have to be depressed sometimes for a week, and then you get the solution. Don't take any supplements. Don't take anything. Get brave by taking this pain, trying to relax yourself, enjoy yourself until situation go by itself. That will be the advice to go through. We do something else in the body because it is a neuromotor disease. It's something called in the fascia. Fascia is called pulse points. They're like the columns supporting your body. But this is fascia. They're moving constantly. We prick with the needle those points. It's for neuronal motor diseases. So that is helping to activate the connection between body and mind. Thank you.
Great question. Tracy, we want to chime in, and then we'll go to you. Yeah, just stay there. You're okay.
So what happens is in that fascia, the energy can get stuck, and that's why this kind of work can undo that as well. But with the somatic, sometimes that you have the overcompensating behaviour, which David's been talking about, and what they call core destructive belief sabotaging behaviour and that. So all this over a period of time blocks. Every time something comes and being like that overly positive, the energy gets stuck somewhere. And then certain types of behaviour causes certain diseases, and that's why in the Chinese medicine there you can pick these patterns up. Yeah.
Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much. I love that, by the way. It was beautiful. I wanted to ask a question. I had a conversation today with a friend. We were just having brunch. And nowadays, I feel like a lot of, not only women, but also men are more into like focusing on their health, becoming healthier, biohacking, and also like eating well. And I also wanted to ask a question. Why is it that, I think you mentioned at the start, some people, they smoke, they drink, they do everything, and they're perfectly fine. But I talked with this girl, we realize we're very sensitive. If I eat horribly, I will feel horribly, like literally, like I would literally feel like sad, and then I'm like, what did I eat? And I'm like, oh, that probably affected me. And then like I don't know, it's just I realize I'm more sensitive to things, and that's why I need to take care of myself better. But once I do take care of myself, I feel completely fine. But how is it possible that other people never take care of themselves? They look amazing, they feel amazing, whereas me, I need to put more work. I love that though. I think it's a beautiful thing, but how is it that people out there are just carelessly living and then they're just perfectly okay?
That is a great mystery. Yeah? But I think I was saying at the beginning, like it's more important than food if you are really doing what you love. So these people are full of passion, and they are all the time busy. And overall, it's not selfish. This is all very important. They're always connecting many others, you know. They are working for others, giving, and at the same time, they take something wrong. But if you are doing that, I think it's more important than anything that you can take. In the other hand, in the other side, you have what I call, as a joke, the most healthy guy at the cemetery, which is those that I take selfish people, only me, including yoga. It can be the yoga, me, eating healthy, me, and they are not very lasting. The me is a killer too. As I said before, is the us and the others and the we, you know. I think that is the biggest factor for this.
So I should like do we instead of me more.
Well, yeah, but don't get me wrong. You have to maintain eating healthy. Don't go crazy. But it's not the most important factor. Also, like this study in the Harvard University, you know, like 47 years studies. It's more important than that, the quality in relationships. When you are happy with your relationship, it's also because you are in your way. In your destiny, you win. But at the same time, usually people in their way, they don't do their things wrong. You feel also happy by taking care of yourself. But again, it's not the main factor. You know? If I can tell a small story, because when I was in Tibet, I don't know why I was walking with this Tibetan monk every day, and then he told me something that was shocking for me. He said, "We are very busy at the monastery." And for me, as a Western mentality, I said, you in the monastery, you're doing nothing all the time, sitting and doing, oh, this is not busy, you know. For me, busy is something else, you know. But he said, yeah, we are busy because we have to compensate a lot of energies coming wrong for many other people. So that was shocking for me. We say, okay, these people, they don't meditate for themselves. Usually we meditate for me to be calm, for me to improve my organs or whatever. These people, they meditate to help others. So this is a misconception, I think, for Western people, even yoga. It is, they believe in Dharma, Dharma is this energy all around, and they have to clean Dharma. So this is given to others. Even for meditation, you give. Even when you're doing yoga, you give. When you are with your emotion, they say this karma. They say the emotions calm. Your voice is also beautiful. Your emotions are good. And down here is also good. Then you are a contributor of Dharma. We always want to contribute to economy, money, but these people contribute in a very beautiful way. When you're a great contributor, let's say the universe takes care of you also. So instead of thinking the me, think about how to contribute. There are many ways to do so, and most of them is by your natural virtues. What is good for me? What I love to do? What when I'm doing it, I don't think about money. It's not the product, the final goal. It is if I enjoy the process. When you are doing something else and you hours and hours and hours having fun with yourself, because that will be something beautiful for others. And then this is health. This is the biggest pill of health you can take in the world. I think so.
Beautiful question, beautiful answer. Another one? Yeah. So just keep on talking, don't touch
Hello, yeah, my name is Shirley. I had a question when I was little. I had a little sick cancer, leukemia, and then my daughter, I'm cured now, and my daughter, when she's 3 years old, she had a leukemia too, but we put bone marrow, like a cord blood, in her bone marrow, and thank God she's healthy now. And my question is, because we took the bone marrow from Singapore, it's a 50%, the cord blood. Is in the future, I'm scared, she can be sick again, or...
Well, be a nice question, yeah. Actually, bone marrow transplant, it has very good...
Cord blood.
Cord blood.
Cord blood, yeah.
Yeah, this is usually is not affecting so much. It's a very good long-lasting results. Usually it's not a problem. The problem it is cancer in children is 1%. It's not a lot, right? But we always have to pay the price, the good things and the bad things for the ancestors. This nose from my great-grandmother and these eyes is not only that, we also have ways to interpret situations, how to take emotions. It's also inherited, And usually the motor of life, the engine of life, it is three things: traumas, longings, and complex. And this is, if I have a complex in my life or have a big trauma, if I don't get over it, I will pass this problem to the next generation.
Genetic?
Yes, you can call it genetic or whatever in the genes. So the mission of my life or the destiny of my life is always to help any kind of complex trauma or longing of my ancestors. If I do so, then again I am in my path. If I'm doing my life very selfish, I don't listen to those people, then I'm starting to get diseases. This is the angle theory breaking away. So I think your daughter, what's your daughter? Right?
Yeah, she's 12 now. Before she get it when she's 3 years old.
Children are magic for cleaning. They are cleaning all kind of problems. No knowing this subconsciously they do. They are machines. This is why everybody loves them. You are doing something good for all the ancestors, and also for all of us right now here. So they are machines of cleaning. I think she just cleaning some kind of trauma. It's not from your daughter. It's maybe from the great-grandfather, great-grandmother. I don't know. But she's cleaning that thing. If she continues doing what she loves, I think the disease will not come back.
Okay. She's athletic now.
This is more important than this transplant are usually not a big complicated for the body. They can adapt to the self, but you have to complete the task, and this is. Naturally, don't think about it. Sometimes I don't know what my great-grandfathers were doing, but I have the push. I have the loving things for things. And this is what you have to search for.
Okay, I have one more question. How is that work, the cord blood? It was interesting. They put in the bank transplant, they say can helping. The cord blood, stem cell?
No, it's stem cells. Stem cell, I'm not so a great fan of this. Many things in science are coming like fashion. They get a lot of money and fashion goes down,
Okay.
Stem cells, all the cells, nearly all the cells in my body can be stem cells. It means that if a broken table, I go to a table, I transform myself into a table. But this is very common. This is all the cells have the potential to do so. Even the proteins, they change themselves into something else. They're adapting constantly. So if you're injecting stem cells, it is like injecting cells. So right now that thing is going down. Yeah? But this is why any transplant at the beginning, all of them are stem cells. So slowly they will transform in the body of your daughter. It'll take time, sometimes years, until your daughter is your daughter again. You know. But yeah, the main thing is that she has to enjoy her life and everything in happiness, and let her free to choose. Don't tell her what to do all the time, like we do right now. Don't give her some right now. You know, all the parents, they want my daughter to be the best in the world. So after school, they send them to English school. Then they want to learn German too, painting. So they are very busy. You know, just freedom is very important for children. The children, by the way, they did the studies. They laughed 30 times more than us. If your child is not laughing 30 times more than you have to be careful, you know. So most important, they have fun. They have fun. This is cleaning. This is understanding who I am and going on the right way.
Appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you. So if we pass the microphone over here, just over this way. Yeah, he's got a chat over here. So 2 things come up. Number 1, I know why you could go for 4 hours. Can you see his energy is still like the same as when he started? Can you see that? Yeah. Me too. I can see that. This is good.
You got to stop me otherwise.
No, listen. No. 5 days. We're good. Jason,
I guess that's why the Finnish education system is so good, right? Because they allow freedom and play until the 6 or 7. But anyway, I digress. My two big takeaways from listening to all 3 of you today. It's like, when I'm trying to think of it as a heuristic, it's like good karma is the dharma path to health, and the other thing is for health, it's not nature or nurture. It's nature and nurture combined is health. Would that be a good assessment?
Yes, nothing to add. Very beautiful. See, I can just go short. It's true. Very nice contribution. Nothing else to say. You said it all. But she want to.
Thank you. Any more questions, anybody? Yeah, sorry, you want one over here? Yeah, back to that. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, over to you.
I heard you speak about, when you don't eat healthy, it gets caught in the cells and the energy. So what type of diet would you recommend? Because, I've researched like Dr. Sebi's alkaline diet and different diets like that. But what would you personally recommend? Would you recommend eating meat? Because I'm from the States and a lot of the food is processed.
Oh, yes. You get to join my course because that's another big topic. But basically, it is 2 problems here. In one way, you have to eat healthy. In another way, you have to enjoy it. Yeah. So this is why sometimes people, they eat wrong, according with many whatever, because what is it wrong? Is many, but they really enjoy it, Same thing than smoking. If you are smoking, feeling guilty, this is going to kill me, I shouldn't do it, that is creating more troubles, People who are very proud, I smoke, I love, whatever, that's also compensating many things, So you are going to a diet, but you don't enjoy it, that is also creating more trouble than maybe the diet itself. So you need to find out there are many diets that are okay, nothing so bad, but enjoy what you do. In the research and they did, I like the idea. It's a guy from France called Jean-Paul Seignalé. In case you want to, he said the third medicine. He did a very nice book, and the research is like temperatures. When we increase temperature in the food, I was saying before, these nutrients, very beautiful proteins or vitamins, they with a high temperature, 110 degrees. It's not so much, it's boiling a little bit. You boiling very high, the cooker pressure, you call it, right? Pressure cooker. And then ovens, those are 35 degrees. So they destroy food. And they create from nice nutrients into mutagens, which is toxic. By the way, if I cook this with an oven, but if I leave it to rest, because nature is very powerful, it's alive, everything is alive, those mutagens, after a few hours, they come back again. So it's very good advice also to eat food when it's not recently from cooking to my mouth. Just to put the food away for a couple of hours or even next day. That's another good advice to maintain good amount of bacteria, which are very good, and the structures in a nice place. I think that's another good advice. What else? For me, as I told you before, this oil, everything, he said everything is steam, raw food, is very good, and a boiling of low temperatures. Everything that's very high temperatures is dangerous. And now let's think about it. What is the worst thing we can do is manufacture food. Because we humans are very beautiful, but it's a lot of interest, Imagine that you are a businessman having a big company for cookies. If I want to give you a very healthy cookie for 110 degrees, the cookie at the end of the process coming like this, slowly, I calculate numbers, and the cookie will be 100 euros. Will you buy it? No. So what they do to minimize the price, it is to increase this oven, and sometimes it's 3,000 degrees. Some of them, the most common is 1,000 degrees. So the cookie is coming very fast, and it like 1,000 degrees. So that, imagine all the nutrients, they are fully destroyed with no chance to recover even you wait for 100 years. So that is not possible because everybody is like done. So for me, I try not to touch manufactured food, of course, because everything comes out death. They have to add some flavor, they have to add preservative. That increases the problem. So those supermarkets full of manufactured food, it is to me dangerous. Nature does the job, and we have to just take it from nature. 60% raw, maybe 40% raw, and the rest slow cooking, slow boiling, or steam. That's it.
Thank you, brother. So the microphone, if you pass it back to Brother Guzman, I think we're close to it now. So what we're going to do as we begin to wrap up, so there's a few things. So Tracy, for you, you're going to, you're going in about 2 minutes time. So if you wanted to check some information about biohacking and the conference coming up, it might be a good time to talk about that. And then we're going to end with you, brother. And the way we're going to end with you is by, so if you're going to have about 3 or 4 minutes to think about this. So I would say,
not 3 days.
No, maybe 5 days. So what it's going to be is knowing that tonight's topic, right, is about reverse, right? Reverse of disease, let's say that. So if there's anything that you like to, you might be reiterating something, or it might be something that you think, you know what, that's really important for me to say now, and I haven't said it yet. And it will come, right? And that's what I'm going to say to close. Whatever it is, you'll be given some time to actually do that, right? So if you pass the microphone to Tracy, you've got another 2 or 3 minutes. So just want to thank everybody here, Tropical Nomad, we've got Guzman and Hadis, who's around here somewhere. Thank you so much. We're here in the garden of Tropical Nomad, which I like being outside. I've got to admit, we're in Bali, it's a tropical place, so let's have a tropical environment, right? That's why we like being out here. So this is episode 459, as I mentioned, the first week of every month we do health. This is episode number 30-something, 36, but I think it's more. I think it's like 38 or 39 episodes, Health Hub Bali, which is Tracy, and we have this wonderful collaboration, right? So that's the first Monday of every month. Next week, we have it's a topical topic, right? So people here in Bali know about building and have mixed responses about what building is, why it's important or why it's not important. So next week, we have a guy called Gabe who created the biggest community in relation to building in Bali, right? So American, incredible guy. He's got this philosophical mind. He's a brilliant guy. So if you want to know more about how to create communities which solve a problem, come next week. If you're interested in building, and that's whether you're sustainable building or otherwise, I obviously say go sustainable building. Come next week, right? Fascinating guy, really, really fascinating. So finally, as I begin to wrap up, so the episodes of Health Hub Bali are on YouTube. So go to SpeakuP Monday, that's 2 words, SpeakuP 1, Monday 2, and go into, there's a folder there, a playlist called SpeakuP Monday, curated by Health Hub Bali. Go in there and check out some of the phenomenal experts which you've had on the show over the last 2 years or more. Realize as well that Health Hub Bali is working with government, it's working with business, it's working with patients. It's a phenomenal thing which Tracy will go into a little bit more detail about. And there's new initiatives which are coming out which will be launched quite soon. So make sure that you keep an eye out for Health Hub Bali. All right? And Tracy's going to to go into a biohacking conference that will come up pretty soon. What else from me? So yes, Speak Up Monday, as you mentioned, here every Monday, Tropical Nomad. You don't need a membership. You don't need to RSVP. You don't need to book. You can just come. Come at 6 o'clock, and we finish around 7:30 or 8. You are very welcome. Remember that it's also about the people in the audience that get to network with each other, because this episode on health attracts only those people who are interested in health. So at the end of the day, you're going to find other community people that you can either bond with, gel with, become partners with, which has happened so many times on this show. It's not funny. So that's why if you see an episode and you think, I would love to be there, just do it, right? So just come and join in. And so Gateway to Indonesia, if there's any other advice, information, businesses coming into Indonesia or want to grow in Indonesia, just look up Robert Ian Bonnick and Associates. Okay, Tracy, over to you. Let's talk about the biohacking coming up so people have an opportunity to join that and whatever else comes up, and we'll finish with you.
Okay, we have a couple of things happening this year. We have the first global medical conference, and the global doctors have chosen the topic Biohacking Bali and Beyond. It's a medically informed biohacking event. I believe, and I understand globally, biohacking is really run by the influencers and not necessarily by the medics. These team of doctors are the doctors from Europe, from America. They also understand the diseases, reversing disease and age in reverse as well, which I won't go into that because that's later in June. But for us here in the island, here in February, we're looking at gathering all the expats who'd like to know more about what biohacking is, and even like the Indonesian doctors here, they don't know what biohacking is, and so that we can learn how our biology works and what we can do to up-level life. And we've got our part of our team, Dr. Amin will be joining us, who's right throughout Asia. He's teaching the doctors and the clinics so they can understand that and pass information on, but also the health enthusiasts, the vitality seekers, health seekers, and the ones who just want to be the best they can be in all the gyms here in Canggu. So we're holding it not far from here on Sunset Road, so that's easy accessible, and it will go into gene therapy, the peptides, and all these other things. Also, Professor David will join us as well, and they're all different perspectives, but we're showcasing what Bali's got to offer.
Beautiful.
So when is it?
23rd of February.
And it's called Bali Biohacking Beyond?
No, that's in June. That's beyond. That's a global conference. This one is for Bali. Because before we bring the global here, we need to get together, all of us.
What's that one called?
This one is just Biohacking Bali. Yeah. The landing page is not up. It's going up this week. And, sorry? It's a Sunday. Yeah, Sunday event, yeah.
Beautiful. And if you want to know any more information, just come to Speak Up Monday. You'll see it. You'll see it there, or Health Hub Bali. So just go to you got website plus as well. You got the Instagram and social media feeds. Now, is there anything else you'd like to say, Tracy?
Yeah. And what we'll be starting, not so much this side of the island, but the other side. I'm in Catawell now, and we've got a lovely area. It's a restaurant called Masa Masa, and at least once a month we'll be having like a health talk there with ones like Dr. David will be there, and a series of these events, gene therapy, all sorts, and do workshops there.
Great. So we pass that microphone and we finish off with you, my brother. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming. You've been awesome. Yeah. And I'm sure we're going to jam a lot, you and I.
I have to say something now. Okay. I have an idea.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
Oh, yeah. How many people are there?
A few.
I think I want to please them because they have a strong curiosity about you. You know, can we both put our hands like this? Oh, yeah. Look at this. Now together.
It's a slight difference, in case you were wondering, right?
Amazing. This is just to help them too. That's it. That is my way to say goodbye.
Everybody, Professor David, Health Up Bali, thank you very much, everybody. See you next week.